Hello everyone, this is Ben from the Hobby Shop Dungeon, and I had a kind of cool idea that I wanted to share about the Marmoreal tomb. Sometimes I have these ideas and I have to put them somewhere. This time I'm gonna just record it and just let it out in the wild. Some of you might know that the Marmoreal tomb module will come with conversion and customization documents in PDF, right? The Marmoreal tomb itself is 4th edition compatible, but there are customizations for 5th edition, Castles and Crusade, Hackmaster. I'm forgetting the others. And there are customization documents that go a step further from the simple conversion into uh, uh, translating the Marmoreal tomb as a setting for adventure into another genre. So either weird fantasy with astonishing swordsmen and sorcerers of Hyperborea, or space opera with White Star, or a modern setting with Operation Wild Box in World War II, and those kind of things, right? And here I have a cool idea for a campaign that would be centered around the Dunsmere, using multiple game systems over a long period of time in the game, right? So I'm just gonna share that with you now. So the past of the Dunsmere, the setting around the Marmoreal tomb and the Hobby Shop dungeon, is shrouded in mystery. This is something we did on purpose to give it an aspect of legend, as if it comes from documents and research from magic users of the time that do not know the entire details of the history of the world, or the prehistory, I should say. And therefore, in this campaign, right, what we would do is use different systems to represent different eras of the world, right? And we would start with Dungeons and Dragons, the original game, right? And on this shade of the earth, humanity would have started way in the back in prehistory with basically the rules of Dungeons and Dragons, right? So we work with that, and in the future, like when characters play characters in different eras of the world, you could have some flashbacks of some discoveries that lead to flashbacks, where you could switch characters between games, right? So you could start with original Dungeons and Dragons to set a basis of dungeon and exploration and all that way in the past of Legend, right? The building of the labyrinths that are powered with the magics of the earth and so on. Or if you want something weirder, you could start with a basis from Empire of the Petal Throne, right? And actually customize Empire of the Petal Throne, keep some of the weirdness and so on, but inject the elements of the past of the earth inside the Petal Throne, right? To make it not the world of the Petal Throne, right? But more the world of the earth, with a taste of the Petal Throne. Okay, so the reason I'm mentioning the Empire of the Petal Throne is that it shares some big commonalities with the original Dungeons Dragons game, right? But it also includes skills and other elements of design that get us closer to a game called RunQuest, right? And RunQuest has a very kind of, well, um, Bronze Age kind of feel to it, right? And that would well represent like the first real society civilization of humans on the earth. Then again, there are some elements mentioned in the timeline, right? And these will be probably explored in further supplements and material. But here, there would be also some great leeway in what you can do, right? If you insert the Marmoreal to in your own world, for instance, you would use these elements of Bronze Age and run the first cities, city states of men and so on, and you would use those rules, right? And then later in the world, then the story becomes recorded, right? So the details become much more um, uh, explicit, right? For instance, we have the war between Dentium and the Empire of Yathar. And there, we would jump from one quest, which has a very simple magic system and so on, to the full-blown Rune Quest 3, which has several types of magic system, shamanism, mysticism, and so on and so forth. You have several more layers of description where you have, like civilized barbarians and nomads and all that, and that would the degree of detail would fit more this kind of pseudo. When you think of Dantium, you should think of classic Rome, right? And Yathar would be a mix between East India and Persia and those kinds of influences, but more alien than that, and with a strong worship of chaos, right? But the world at this stage would be more like this, right? And then further into the future, what would be the present of the module, right? You could use something. I think that could be actually mind-boggling, right? But you could use the coat of arms and all the details of the area of the Marmoreal tomb and run a full-on Pendragon campaign, because Pendragon is kind of simplified from the basic role-playing system, right? Which is the basis of those two games. But it is really its own thing, focused on playing knights. And in a structure of scenarios, that's basically one session, 1 year. And you create your own dynasties of noble families. In the Pendragon game, that's meant for your characters to take place in the Legends of the Tab Around. In our setting of like a new shade of the Earth, that would be basically creating a dynasty of knights during the era of the Viscountcy of Poy, of the Archbarony of Ars, and so on. But you could use all the fairy stuff, the Kingdom of the Elves, and all that, to give it a much more British legendary feel, and really focus on characters that are knights and human, right? With all the dwarves and elves and all that being really alien types of people, right? And during these adventures, once a year and so on, you could discover secrets about the past that would send you back to other eras with other characters, right? And if we're talking about, if we would imagine after all this, and you could have an entire campaign that is like the Pendragon campaign, that is like an 80-year-long campaign in the world. You could have like the future of the Earth, like a modern shade of the Earth, right? And you could use something like the Call of Cthulhu, right? And you could have the Dreamlands, and the Dreamlands could be connected to the spirit world in something like Conquest, and you could connect that to the Realm of the Fairies. Those could be all the same thing or connected, right? And I could connect to the alien world into that, in the implied setting of the Empire of the Petals Throne, right? So you could make your own soup like that with several eras and have a campaign that covers essentially millennia, right? And have a campaign like that with, 6 games, right? Or 5 rather, if you choose between Empire of the Petals Throne or OD&D. Though maybe in the past, men came from Empire of the Petals Throne. Or maybe the reverse, right? Maybe the men of the Empire of the Petals Throne, in fact, came from a shade of the Earth. I mean, that's I just thought that was a very cool idea. So I just wanted to share that, right?